Sounds great. Thank you, Mark, for having us. Definitely Axceler is always part of the game when it comes to migrations. You can see my Twitter handle up here, Axceler Amira. I'm actually one of the sales engineers at Axceler, but I'm also, as they like to call me here, Dean of Axceler Academy, and I'll bring some of those topics up a little bit later. But if you want to address any questions to us, you have our Axceler Twitter handle here as well. So really, it's a solution for SharePoint migrations, and what we're going to take a look at today is our DaVinci Migrator solution, which will allow us to migrate from 2003 or 2007 up to 2010 or 2013. We do have a release, a beta on beta, as we like to call it internally, that will allow us to really perform that migration today, and we will be ready with a release for the RTM. About 30 to 60 days, we're going to guarantee a certified copy of our release. Really, as far as the migration is concerned, we want to make sure that our clients are successful with their migrations, no matter how complex they are, whether you have workflows, info path forms, you have those customizations in your environment. We want to make sure that we're not just helping with the migration itself, but helping them get from the point that they stand today to that successful migration, whether they do have a drop-dead date in mind where they'd like to have that migration complete or not. I've worked with definitely several clients that have either scenario. And however that migration needs to take place, as granular as you need to get, you will be able to have that approach with our product. But some people really just want to go from A to B. And part of that is not taking the junk, as a lot of the other presenters have mentioned. We want to make sure that we can clean up prior to that migration. So with DaVinci, we have a really unique three-phase approach, which is more of identifying what you have in the environment through more of a discovery phase. Go ahead and run whatever types of queries you'd like to be able to build your migration set. And part of this, of course, if you are using other solutions like ControlPoint, which is our administration and governance solution, will be able to really help frame that migration planning by cleaning up that environment, whether it's permissions related, whether it's data related. We'll also be able to filter out that content directly through DaVinci so that you have not only the identification capability, but directly move that into your migration building. We will be able to see side by side how you can migrate from your 2003 or 2007 environments up to 2010, being able to either restructure the environment if necessary as you're going along. And then finally with the migration, several options. I know some of the other presenters have gone through the different granularities, and you'll see some of those here, but I think that we'll add more value in terms of specifically being able to choose which options you'd like to remove or include in that migration offering. So as we're getting into the product, we will be able to touch upon a few of these things and more or less a few of the reasons why I think we're better than some of our competitors out there. But really, as far as the migration is concerned, I'm going to go ahead and actually pull up ControlPoint. I use ControlPoint to generate a report to really identify what my environment looks like today. I did this for more of a storage perspective, but you can also analyze activity data. Sometimes you have reports or require reports to identify which areas are most active or least active within that environment. And so based on either activity levels, storage levels, be able to generate that information, understand what your environment's looking like today, and use that to really build that plan, build that migration. And of course, you can get the information as specific as you need it here, and it'll lend more value into the DaVinci process. So as far as DaVinci is concerned then, as you guys saw a sneak peek of my screen, we're going to actually sneak over to DaVinci Central, which DaVinci Central is where we'll be able to manage my environments. As you can see here, I'm actually managing 3 farms, my 2010 farm as well as a 2007 and a 2003 environment. So if you do have any farm still on 2003 on WSS or SPS 2003, we're going to help you bring that over to 2010. There's no need to hit the roadblock or hit the speed bump, which is 2007 on the way up to 2010. We will be able to pull up the application then, which brings us into seeing the environment side by side. Like I mentioned, you'll be able to have more of that side-by-side approach, see what's currently in each of your environments, and more, the people that I speak with are looking to have the environment up in 2010, be able to test out these migrations. And I think that's one of the biggest pieces with our product, being able to take their most complex areas, identify what they are, and be able to test those out, be able to migrate them. So here you can actually see the layout. You can identify different sites, site collections. Of course, many of these sub-sites may not have sub-sites of their own, but in the case that they do, you can decide how many pieces, how many components you'd actually like to migrate as you're moving forward. You can choose how many ever children you'd like. Sometimes you're only concerned with 1 or 2 children. Sometimes you're concerned with many. So you can choose how many ever pieces you'd like, and in the destination, appropriately place these sites. Whether you need to create this site in the destination by promoting the sub-site to its own site collection, you can choose the managed path of your choice. You can also create new site collections on the fly, which I think is really nice if you want to split up any of the structure that you have today. Go through that process and choose that template of your choice. As far as the migration set, of course, we can name this whatever we'd like. And to my point earlier, if you do need to have that involvement from business units in the environment, which I think Idira did a great job, but for us, we definitely want that involvement. We find that business users are involved, but to some extent. And so we'd like to share with them this information, but at an easy format for them. So we can save it as an Excel file so that they can view what's been decided. Sometimes you like to use this file as an after the fact, show the people what the new path might be, because as I'm doing here, I might choose to move from the product site collection into a client site collection. Whatever the case might be, sometimes you are looking to identify what you have in the environment, query the environment for existing pieces. Nintex workflows, SharePoint Designer workflows, out-of-the-box workflows. A lot of people are concerned about those pieces, and we're going to be able to handle them no problem. Any custom web parts that you have, you want to make sure you have them identified so that you can choose whether you'd like to carry them over to the destination or not. And really, as you're going through with our product, you will have those options. As I'm going ahead and migrating here, I'm taking 2 sub-sites, a sub-site of a sub-site, which is actually the meeting workspace. But we can choose how many ever components we'd like as we're moving forward. You can choose to replicate that source hierarchy, but you can also choose to merge existing sites with those in the destination, and it's all up to you how you'd like to go through that process. So what you'll see in just a few seconds as my screen renders here, you'll be able to also pull up several discovery queries. And these queries are actually shipped with the product. It's built in simple SQL, but you can also create any additional queries that you'd like. You can use these queries to identify exactly where you might have certain discrepancies, certain customizations. A lot of individuals will also use these queries. They have some that will help you identify where you have old content. A lot of these queries will also help you identify how many running instances you might have of any of these workflows. So you're able to take this information, filter out by whatever types of filters you need to apply, and add these sites directly to that migration set. And it's a very intuitive approach that we've taken as we build a solution. In either case, take this information, export it to the people that might need to review it. You might have stakeholders in the process that need to actually see, do I need to take these custom web parts to the destination? and be able to have them involved in that process. So however that process is really built, then it's the question of the migration. And when we get into the migration aspect of DaVinci Migrator, we're going to allow you to do quite a bit in terms of granularity. Whether it's taking apart the sites that you're looking to migrate and migrate just an individual list or library from that bunch, or remove some of the custom web parts as you plan not to deploy them in the future. You could do the same thing with site features as well, as a lot of individuals choose not to move these site features to the destination. Just a minute as that screen renders for us. You could just see the level of granularity.
Amira, that's a good place to give you your 5-minute warning.
Great.
That's a 5-minute warning. Good.
So really, as far as these capabilities go, you're going to find that you can choose from that recent migration set. You can identify and verify that, yes, these are the sites that I am looking to migrate. If that is the case, go ahead and get into the more granular filters. Be able to identify that, yes, this site has these users with permissions today. It has these SharePoint groups. It has certain web parts. And if I needed to filter any of these out, say I just wanted to take Microsoft web parts moving forward, I can do that. If I'm working with lists and libraries, of course, we're going to maintain all your metadata as you move forward, all your version history. And in case you choose to leave behind the empty lists or libraries, whether it's to save time or you just don't care about maintaining or preserving the metadata against empty lists or libraries, but just the items, you have full capability of doing that. We allow you to go even deeper. Instead of just applying general filters across the entire set or entire site, you can go ahead and filter out the specific components that you'd like out of any of these areas. I think one of the most powerful pieces then is taking a look at the site settings, the list settings, being able to pick and choose which options you'd like to take as you move forward. I always like to filter out, filter out and clean up the environment. We don't want to take MP3s as we move forward. We don't want to take items that may be greater than 10 megabytes. Well, you can go ahead and filter those out as you're going through with the migration. Apply them to either individual sets or the entire area that you're looking to migrate. And I really, I feel almost like more of a consultant when I'm talking to people, because they really want to be able to migrate everything in a big chunk, but they want to do it with different customizations for each area. And you're definitely able to do that with this product. You're able to limit a lot of these pieces of functionality and of course, get that query capability, understand what issues you may run into prior to that migration so that you have a successful migration moving forward. And here, we're going to identify that we have quite a few issues. We have mostly items that are checked out as the most prevalent that we have here. But DaVinci will give us those recommended actions. We'll be able to help us identify how to fix those issues and have a successful migration. You definitely
Amira, it's your 2 minutes.
So you definitely do have those capabilities with the product. You have the capability of scheduling these migrations and, of course, running in a few different modes. You have the option of running through more of a mode where you do turn off those search and timer services to speed up that migration, or have the option of not affecting those services in the case that you already have people on 2010. So while this migration is going through, I am going to skip over to the slides and give you guys just a quick synopsis of our portfolio. So we are taking a look at DaVinci Migrator, which helps us migrate from 2003 or 2007 up to 2010. We also do have a file loader solution, which helps you bring in your file shares into SharePoint, which is an agentless solution. You're going to be able to have your end users be a lot more participative in the process and really take that control if you'd like to push it out to that end user level. And of course, control point is that end result, which is going to give you that day-to-day focus as you move forward with your governance and administration strategies. I just wanted to put up some information here in case you guys do want to contact us. If you have questions about the product, you can contact me directly. Here's my email address and my Twitter handle, as well as the Axceler Twitter handle and our email address.